Just did that last night. Yeah.
And then I put it on the charger, and then I pick it up. It's like, ooh, we didn't have enough power to upload. It's like, just do it. Stop. Either like, it's the old say, like, piss or get off the pot.
Right.
Because it's sort of like, update or don't. Like, just stop it. Like, if you can't handle it, leave me alone.
Exactly. Don't suggest it, and don't verify it again, because that takes
Yeah.
forever. You're like, well,
Okay.
just
Here's
get it out.
here's my code. Here's my permission.
Yeah.
Whenever you're ready, you go ahead and update and let me know. But until then, stop telling me you're failing it, because like there's nothing I'm going to do about it.
It's not my problem. This is your problem.
Come on. I'm going back to an iPod, damn it.
That's right.
Get my old click wheel back. This noise, this
And were
nonsense.
the days. Back to Zune.
All retro. Oh, buddy. Zune. I'll go back to my BlackBerry playbook that I bought on launch day.
Right.
I have such bad
Get
taste in
burned
tech.
there. Yeah.
I'll find tech and I'll fall in love with it. It's like, this is cool. And then it just never takes off. And I've had such an awful track record that now whenever I like something, I'm like, oh no. I
Well,
really
tell
like
us, tell your audience so they know what not to buy.
I really like this device. So,
You know,
so-
Stadia is great. Everyone should go in.
Oh, oh Lord. So let's see, what have I liked? I really like the Xbox Series S.
Yes.
I adore
okay.
that console. I have a Quest 2 and I really like it.
Okay.
What else am I using currently?
I don't know if we're on shaky ground or not. I think those are doing pretty well.
Yeah, we'll see. Now they aren't. Had an iPhone Mini. I know that they're discontinuing.
There's a
Like,
mini? Oh my god. We should consult you on your
what is Trevor like? Everybody go the opposite direction. Oh, let us get the show started.
That's right.
We are live. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
I'm Jeff. My kids are not asleep, and I have a 12-year-old and a 9-year-old, and I'm sitting in, like, I don't think you can see it on camera, but like leftover crafts from a project
goodness.
that was due for tomorrow.
Oh my Lord!
From one
Again,
of my kids. So
Was
that
this-
was,
was this-
found.
was this like a 7 p.m. like, hey, listen, by the way,
This was like a 4 p.m. on a Sunday. Oh, by the way, I need all these things.
oh my God, that's the worst.
And, you know, every store is, you know, either loaded up or closing. And we're like, well, we have construction paper and glue. Figure it out. Like,
Got some glitter, volcano,
Hey,
baby.
there's glitter here too. Yeah. So I am knee deep in that right now. It has not been cleaned up. So that is tomorrow's task for them. But yes, kids are not asleep on my end.
That's just classic. So mine are. Their friends aren't. Their friends are staying at their house. So
Oh.
so Jeff and I are coming in hot. Like, we no prep time. We're like, all right, let's get into this podcast. We got to get it recorded. We have friends staying over for the weekend, which has been fantastic, especially when they have. I'm sure every set of parents have certain friends where the kids just like gel, like just the entire two family units just like sync like a puzzle piece. It's awesome. And they've been playing wonderfully. So they had gone out to see another, I think, a family member who lives in town. So like I got this like little window to do this show. So it's like, Jeff, buddy, let's bring your A game. We got to go fast. Let's get this show.
That red phone was ringing. I'm like, no, everything has to stop. Trevor's calling.
I don't care about your project. That's your problem. Podcast comes first.
That's right.
But now it brings up an interesting point, because tomorrow is a school day. We're actually going to be taking my kids out of school so they can spend the extra day with the friends. These folks live 4 or 5 hours away.
Okay. Yep.
And it's a really nice occurrence when we all get together. So we're just like, you know what? Like, they're staying here anyways for the Monday, leaving on Tuesday. Let's just take them out of school. Like, just whatever. Take a day. You're in grade 2. Like, there's not that much going on.
What are you missing? The color blue? Like, what is really going on in grade 2? So,
And so that, you know, so we'll be, I don't want to say liberal with it, but it's just like we have some healthy degree of truancy, where when it comes time to, you know, maybe bend the rules a little bit, bend the norms a little bit to kind of give the kids an experience. It seems great. So they're super excited about that. And 2 weeks ago, we recalled a story about where dad's foolishness resulted in an extra day off that they got.
oh,
Because I would swear to you, Jeff, upon my mother's grave, I would swear to you that as I was laying my sweet head to sleep that night,
Right.
that my wife had said to me, okay, the teacher mentioned that if the buses are canceled tomorrow, then school's canceled. I would swear to you. So what I loaded up my phone.
Yeah.
I had like the page ready to go. It's like,
Yeah.
this is where it'll be announced. So I was going to wake up, refresh. Okay, is it canceled or not? So day of, like, wake up, like, refresh. Hey, canceled. All right, kids, enjoy. Well, I get to go back to sleep. This is a holiday for me. I get an extra hour. This is
I
great.
see where it really came from. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Right. Now, we drive our kids to school. They don't take the bus.
Okay.
But remember the instruction I thought I had, if the bus
Yep.
is school's canceled.
You're the bus. The bus is canceled. Yes.
So we got the phone call from school at 1:00. Hey, where's your kids? Where's your kids? Your kids are supposed to be at school today. My wife looks over, like her neck snaps, and she looks over to me. It's like, you said it was canceled. It's like, I thought it was. I thought it was. Kids eked out a free snow day. It was they had the greatest time of their lives.
Oh, I bet.
And I didn't. I'm staring at them like I get nothing but heat because I made this terrible mistake. I didn't feel too bad about it though. I will say this because like snow days, it's cold in Canada, Jeff. It's miserable in Canada for many months here now. Like a snow day is that little spark of joy. You get that little. There's been a snow day. You listen to the radio and you just wait with anticipation, and then boom, celebration, fireworks. Okay, I don't have to go to school today. Greatest day of the year immediately, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, I relate to this story more than you know. A couple days, it was the same kind of situation. The kids are really hoping for that snow day the next day. And they're like, Dad, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know.
Dad, what's your read? What does the sky tells
And
you?
I gave him like a percentage. I'm like, I don't know, 80%. It's going to be a snow day. So like, just don't set your alarms.
Yeah.
I will wake you up. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
That way, if it is a no school day, then they can sleep in and we can sleep in somewhat. Anyway, turns out it was a school day. I'm no bus, so they have to get up and walk to school. And they were the miserable kids, like, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to do this. You said 80%.
80%, dude. Why?
I know.
Why would you give those odds?
I honestly thought it would have been. They've canceled for far less, and we got lots of snow. So I'm not sure what happened, but
You're
anyway.
calling the school in the morning, like, listen, are you sure? Like, really? Do you want to be there?
Yeah.
Don't you want to be home in front of a fire, Coco? What are you doing? Anyway, so it was a chuckle, and we're trying, like I said, trying to get in and out of this episode to see where we get.
Yeah.
We'll start off with the day. Another dad has entered the quest for Elden Ring.
Yes.
Me, I did it. Like,
Yes.
God, this game is
Tarnished.
so the best. It's like, congratulations on enjoying this game from 2 years ago. Neat work, new dad.
Welcome.
Because obviously, like, I was skeptical from it, as far as like, I just don't have time to get good at this game.
Yeah.
Secondarily, I purchased it at the time. We did have a sponsorship once with Plitch, which offered offline codes for if you're playing offline, not multiplayer, you can be infinite health, blah 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 blah. So you could just kind of rip through it. But that we didn't. We lost the code was for 3 months that we had, so I lost that, and Elden Ring was just sitting there. Decided to get into it anyways, and I'm trying to, like, the world is so alive. Like, you would think that, like, for something that is almost apocalyptic, it would feel dark and stormy and brooding, but the place is teeming with life. It is the most open of worlds I've seen, because there's nothing. You have no idea what to do next. Like, there's zero indication.
Oh yeah.
There, you can go to like a campfire, like one of the sites of grace, and it gives you that faint thing, but it's beyond that. Like, there's no explanation, there's no tutorial text. Like, they're not handing you everything. Like, you are truly exploring. And I don't know that I've felt such a sense of exploration and wonder in a real long time. And like that constant sense of foreboding. Like, I've gone back to places where I've cleared out before and died terribly just because like because I messed up like a stealth kill, and next thing you know, there's like 6 guys, and it's like I've killed these guys 30 times now, and yet sometime I died this one. So you're in constant danger, which adds this just heat on top of it. Like, what was your like? It's I don't think it's on sale, so I can't really recommend for dads. It's like, hey, if you haven't yet, get it.
Yeah.
As a old school gamer, and that sense of wonderment of a big world I've never explored, like just that discovery and trying to figure out slowly piecing things together. It hits so many notes, I think, from an old school type of gaming. Like, what do you recall from your first steps into it as a gaming dad, as someone who, grew up on games?
Yeah, it was one that was like we've talked on this show before, just like that open worldness. You're like, oh God, like this is gonna take a while. But it's again, like you were saying, it's so beautiful and it's so well done, and the artistic direction, it just makes your eyes just pop. Like you want to go to the places it's kind of
Yeah.
pulling you to. So I would say like this is probably the easiest entry to get into that kind of Souls series. They give you a lot of tools to work with, and like you were talking about, like sense of wonder, and you realize that you might die at any corner. But I think with this game, it's somewhat approachable. Like you can still have that tension, but you die a lot, and when you respawn at a site of grace or some other place that you've put down, it's not that bad. Like Dark Souls series would be punishing. You would have to go through multiple paths and bosses to get to where you were. But this is pretty good at just resetting where you kind of left off. So
Yeah.
bite-sized pieces, you can get through it. I mean, I did it. You're doing it. And if you're an old school gamer that was into, Battletoads or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you know how punishing those games can be. This is no more than that. Like it's just bigger. So
Yeah, and I think that what I do appreciate is I watched some videos on it. I'm going to probably be checking guides often about like what to do next, because as much as it would be fun to bash my head against this for like 6 hours, I'd probably prefer just do a Google search
yeah.
and get to where I need to be.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that, because a lot of these things are, test, experiment, and then go back. But a lot of that in here is like worlds apart. So if you at least Google like, hey, do I need to kill this one boss before this next one because I'm really having a hard time? No shame in that. Like, use your tools, man. Like, this is like half this lore that is in this world. Like, I had to Google. I'm like, what does all this mean? Like,
Yeah, there's
it gives you tidbits, but it doesn't really explain much. So.
Yeah, and some of it was a bit tricky. Like with the initial elements, you get some first items relatively quick in the game, but you wouldn't know about it, and some of it even helps you level up. And if you don't get it right away, like you'd be kind of bashing your head or wondering what's going on. It's not like you're going to miss it and it's a one-time chance to get it, but it's weird that it's not there, and like it's not presented in a more obvious way that would allow you to obviously level up. And what I do like is, because there is the leveling, is that if you're at a place where you're just getting handed to you, like you're just getting beaten, like you can just kind of putz around in the world, and like you can level up and you can buy some stuff, and you can kind of just buff yourself. The second one is, there was this, I went into some random cave like right at the beginning, some wolf monster was there. And I could not beat him, because I'm bad at this game, B, underleveled.
Yeah.
I called in help, like I did the multiplayer thing.
You did, yes.
So
How'd you like that?
That's so cool. Like, it was like, yes, I got to do this for every boss. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
So like for those listening, if you hadn't played it, for any of the bosses, you can summon a friendly player. You got to be careful. You can summon antagonistic players who are going to try to hurt you, but you can also summon people who will help you. They'll literally come in, they have an avatar, and their only role is to try to beat the boss with you.
Yeah.
Particular area. It was amazing. Like the two of us are just ganging up. We had a really great fight. We won. I tried it a second time, and the other player died really quickly. And it was like that's hardly any help at all.
Yeah.
And that was the only person available for that boss. Like I went back there. It's like, would you like to resummon? I'm like,
Nope.
I don't know that I would. Just like, because I don't want to keep bringing him in just so he'll die and not be helpful.
It would be funny if my kids were playing it, because my 9-year-old was just tooting around in it and probably laying down signs wherever, summoning to this other boss, and like, I don't know what to do. Here you go.
Yeah. So I'd say the recommendation I have for other dads is, if you have, like me, admired this game from afar, but been worried that the skill leveling was going to be too difficult for you to enjoy it, I would still recommend you get into it. It is so captivating and so beautiful. There's so many gorgeous callbacks to the way that we grew up on games as far as its difficulty, lore, wonder, a true open world, an exploration, a sense of wonder, that it's worth it. And, you know, as Jeff said, like, it's not as horrifically punishing as previous Souls games. There are some modern niceties to try to help you get through it. It seems like they want you to beat this game, if that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think that is. And then as you get later in the game, you get even more tools to help you on your journey. So, like, nothing's ever walled off. And call for help. If there's nothing, we teach ourselves and our kids. Always ask for help if you need it. So
yeah. A lesson for our kids, a lesson for us gaming.
That's right.
All right, let's move on. So Jeff, with such aplomb, such pride, had announced to us yesterday how he had gone through the ringer to install with ROMs, with hacking, with deep code and integration. He'd managed to get GoldenEye running on his Steam Deck and was joyously playing it with his kids.
Yeah.
Fast forward a week, and GoldenEye has officially been announced for Switch, which is cool, but also Xbox, specifically even on the Xbox Game Pass. So free to download, off you go, and both have multiplayer. How are you feeling? Did you feel like prompted this revelation? It's like, oh, well, Jeff got it. We better just announce it now.
That's right.
Did you know it was coming? You don't care? Like, how did the announcement strike you?
It was one of those things where I waited a long time. Like, and Nintendo and Xbox were doing something behind the scenes to try and get something out, but no one knew when it was going to happen. And then, hey, look, yesterday, let's just drop it right in everybody's lap. Sure, why not? I'm fine with the way I did it. I've learned some things that I can apply to other games, I suppose.
Good.
But I am happy that more people get to play it, especially with... Now, I don't like how they rolled it out. Okay, so quick thing. So the difference between the two is kind of ridiculous. So the Nintendo version gets online multiplayer and local. The Xbox version, I think, has up-resed Nintendo 64 textures, but no online multiplayer.
Gross. Local,
I don't know why they would do that, to be honest. Like, if you're going to license things, just let it fly, right? So me in the emulator side of things, I can't do online multiplayer, but all the textures have been modded. So it's more, I don't know, it's not high res. It's just, it looks cleaner, right? I would love to do this game online and I wish they included some things. And I tweeted about it. If they had, you upload your face to like a horrible polygonal.
Oh my God. You get that
soldier
awful face mask.
Yeah.
God.
I think that would be hilarious. Obviously there's going to be people that, take advantage of that system, and that's why we can't have nice things,
Yeah.
But I remember doing that with older games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2, I think. You could upload a photo and it was like this ridiculous character. But if they had that in this, that would be so fun. And you could take pictures of yourself on online multiplayer. That'd be hilarious.
God, that would be cool.
I guess it's just bare bones and you're supposed to be thankful for what you get from Nintendo. I don't know.
For it to have brought to Xbox really feels, I don't call it special, but just really nice, like really wonderful. Like Nintendo has no business really putting it onto an Xbox. So the fact that they did this is really kind of a treat in a sense. Like, it's really kind of cool to have it. So especially for like myself being a great enjoyer of Xbox Game Pass, I think it kind of lowers the barrier of entry for so many people to get into it. It is weird, like the hamstringing of certain versions, so you can't do online multiplayer. It's just, come on, guys, get the best. This is an amazing game. People love it. Get the best version out there. I'll be curious if maybe there's a patch in the future.
Maybe. I mean, have you downloaded it and played it?
No, I wanted to before the show, but didn't have an opportunity with all the friend stuff happening this weekend. I intend to. I'd like to. I would like to. I don't know that I've ever truly beat the campaign.
Oh, really?
I think most of my playing was I've seen it. Literally seen, because at the end I think you drop down a ladder and then I've seen somebody beat it. So I've been there for almost all the levels, but just have I sat there and played and beat it? No, because I actually never even owned an N64 until I was an adult. And even then, GoldenEye was was for the multiplayer.
Right. Yeah.
So it'd be nice. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be nice to kind of like just go through and see if I can actually beat this thing.
I think you absolutely could. This game does not hold up in the gameplay department, But for that nostalgia and the soundtrack and the
Mm.
just fun multiplayer, it's fun. It would be interesting to see. I don't think your kids would be playing this game. It's a little
Nah.
bit too heavy on the guns, but you know,
Yeah.
if you want to toot around, but
In future, like it's gonna be once I get to the place where the three of us can have multiplayer matches, no odd job.
right.
We're gonna we're gonna be or all odd job. We'll see where
Yeah.
it goes. Anyways, hey, gaming dads out there, were you excited by the news? Did you download it? Are you playing it with your kids? Are you excited to play it online with other multiplayers? Reach out to us, newdadgaming.com at newdadgaming. Speaking of remakes, there's a big week for that. So we had Dead Space, the original, being now is it official? Do you know if it's an official like remake in that as best I understand it is exactly the game.
Yeah.
But did they just upscale it, or did they redo the entire thing so it's modern console ready?
They say remake, so they say
Okay.
they've redone the entire, like even the artwork and the lighting system and how the map is kind of all not redoing the maps per se, but making slight edits so that it works well with modern consoles because it is next gen only, or this gen I guess we call it now. So they've been calling it a remake, but like it is kind of a remaster, right? Like it's I don't know. It's got a good coat of paint on it. Like it's got
Yeah.
everything
Well,
in there, just better.
Well, it's much like the GoldenEye though. It's either kind of like you take those textures and you make the textures HD and you call it a wrap. As best I understood it, it's almost like they really went into the environments, they went into the character models, and they redid them so that they would work properly in the next generation of consoles.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's ground up. They've rebuilt it, so
Okay.
it looks great. It's one that I played long time ago. I think my wife actually came home with this game as a
Wow.
surprise, and I was
Oh.
like, "Whoa, let's play it!" And she hates horror games, so she's like, "No, I'm out. You can play it by yourself."
You do you.
So I was looking at this one. Are you thinking about picking it up or staying back, or what do you think?
Depends on the price. Like I don't know what it is selling for. Do you happen to know?
I don't happen to know, but I'm sure it will be full price up in here in Canada.
Dead Space remake price. Let's do a quick Google search on that.
I don't think I could stomach a $90
That's the thing. If it was
Purchase. On something like this, at least, right?
It's out now. Check our price comparison. $60.
US.
Oh
See?
goodness. So that's like $80 Canadian.
I think I'd wait for sale on this one just because I know
Yeah.
the game. I would like to experience it again. That'd be kind of cool, but not as
Yeah.
a full.
No, it feels like I would very happily give them $30 for this.
Yeah.
But anything more than that, it's sort of, I don't know. I'm happy. What I was more interested in it is we are seeing older properties treated with a certain degree of reverence. So obviously, Final Fantasy VII, which is really a retelling
Yes.
of a
yeah,
beloved story and handled with such care and love that has become, I think, universally like, praised and loved, adored for how they handled it. GoldenEye, it was really the, hey, like, here it is. You guys keep asking for it. Here is GoldenEye.
Get off her back. Yeah. Stop. But you're right. Yeah.
And that was
GoldenEye.
increased. So that's awesome. And this one feels like, what I'm curious about, and I imagine, and I wonder if like any game calls out to you for this particular type of treatment. Dead Space came at a time where it's like it was really pushing the boundaries. Like it went up to the line, and if it could just go a little bit further, it would have been just such a greater game. And now that the next generation of consoles have arrived, it can really expand itself to take up that technology and present an experience that's all the better. Especially with something like mooding and lighting and all those type of interesting things.
Yeah.
So, I do wonder if there's a bunch of games in that weird halfway space where they had started to reach the bounds of technology of the time, much like this Dead Space, kind of like a God of War, right? These massive stories, these cool big environments, these interesting mechanics. Does any game jump out to you that could benefit from the same type of remake?
None that's already been done, I guess. I like what at the top of my head is Resident Evil has been getting remakes, right? And they've been
constantly.
done quite well, right? So it's one of those things where like what other game could again expand upon what the original vision was? Like, because I think a lot of, I've seen a lot of concept artwork from the original Dead Space. I actually went to the school with the guy that worked on the game, and the concept art is like the remake. Do you know what I mean? Like they had this vision of like what it could be, and the technology just kind of put up that barrier. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see them achieve that goal. But I don't know what game are you thinking? I don't have one that would.
I wonder. Like, I remember that it was a weird. I never got to play it, but it was for PS3. It was a girl with this like crazy red hair. I think it was like a launch title to try to show off the technology.
Oh right.
Long crazy hair, and it was some sort of wild. Like, I remember the mechanics and the physics of the attack and everything else were really wild for the time.
Yes. What was that called? Now you got me. What was it called? Something Odyssey or something?
Yeah, I can imagine something like that. Like I would. So that one. But that one, for instance, like there's a bunch of those kind of in between ones where just like if it could just expand like just a little.
Was it Heavenly Sword? Is it Heavenly Sword?
Heavenly Sword. That's the one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go. Oh,
We actually got a comment from a live viewer, so Soul Reaver.
that's a good one. Yes, please.
Okay, we got a
That's a good one.
Soul Reaver.
Soul River Legacy of Kain.
Oh right, yeah. That's like
Let's do that.
I'm
Is
surprised that one.
perfect.
You see this one constantly brought up as far as
Yes.
like classics. It's kind of weird that someone hasn't dipped back into it. Soul Reaver would be great.
It would be.
So
That
that's
is
again
a
where
good
there was
suggestion.
a huge cool mechanic. It just never.
I mean, even look at the gameplay we're looking at. Like everything's drawing as you rotate the screen. Like it needs a full remake. There you go. That's perfect content. Like that is something a little different. Of course, now
Wow.
we're heading into vampire games. But
Yeah.
what's another one? Let's go.
Let's keep it going. I wonder if some of the first Prince of Persia ones could use it. Like the Prince of Persia sort of fell off some of the later versions of it, but the mechanic, like the time rewinding, the open world, the scaling, like in many ways, it sort of felt like it became Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But if it was like the more focused, action-oriented ones, and they got to really play with that time mechanic with all the
They-
capabilities of the modern systems, would be pretty sweet.
They are remaking it. They just have delayed it and or canceled it completely because they revealed like a little snippet of it. I don't know if you remember, but one of the game shows, and it was not good. It was not a good
Oh.
reception, and they're like, you know what? We're gonna like put it back in the oven, and you'll hear from us. And it never came back. So I don't know.
So that's like, you know, so I think it's an interesting space where there's a bunch of IPs that we really enjoyed, that had really cool stories, amazing artwork, amazing concepts that just couldn't realize its full potential because of limitations at the time. So, you know, as much as a remake or an HD remaster can sometimes feel like a bit of a cash grab, in the case of Dead Space, the way they've handled it, it feels like a good blueprint for going forward of how we might be able to do this. And it's kind of cool for us dads just being able to, if you if you wanted to introduce Dead Space to your young children,
I was about to say,
now's
I'm
the-
like,
that's
why
your
not?
perfect
Hey kids, you won't sleep for a week, but
enjoy,
enjoy. Dad didn't sleep either, so we can
suffer
experience
together.
a nightmare. Yeah.
Hey, new dads, if anybody out there, do you have a particular game that just felt like it could have been so much better with just that little bit of extra power, that little bit of extra storytelling? Is it a game that could have reached its full potential by doing so? Reach out to us again, New Dad Gaming at New Dad Gaming on Twitter. And that will wrap it up there for the week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you like the show, you can find it on all the major podcasting networks. So Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Caster, anywhere where you get your podcasts. What really helps the show is a subscription and especially a comment. Those type of things really helps us to rise the ranks of these shows and get some more visibility, brings it as many gaming dads as possible. If we're going to come up with this list of demands to previous game
That's
companies that may or
Yeah.
may not exist, like, we're going to need to have a whole army of dads to do so. So yeah, a subscription and a rating and a review really helps out the show. Do you have any comments from the show today? Like a remake that you want to make, a remake that you'd like to see? Are you getting into Elden Ring? Did you play GoldenEye? We love to hear about it. It's been one of the most amazing things for the show has been the interaction with people online. So again, the two places to grab us at New Dad Gaming on Twitter and newdadgaming.com. Everybody, thank you so much for listening once again. This has been New Dad Gaming. My name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old, 9-year-old, and the GoldenEye pause music installed on my phone is my ringtone. And I don't answer the phone ever because I want to listen to it. So,
Jeff, it's emergency.
I can't.
All right, everybody. See you next week. Remember, just because you became a dad
Does not mean it's game over.
Cheers.
See ya.